The wind howled through the ruins of Sector V Delta, where buildings once towered like monuments to civilization but now stood hollow and broken, like ribs of a dead beast. Acidic rain dripped from exposed metal girders, sizzling on the cracked pavement. Refugees wandered like ghosts, some wrapped in plastic sheets, others half-naked, stripped of everything but their will to survive. Among them was a woman, alien by birth, but too tired to remember her world's name. Her skin, once a brilliant shade of lavender, was faded to a sickly gray. She had no shoes, no possessions. The thin cloth she wrapped around herself flapped like a flag of surrender. Her name was Cellari, and she had nothing. She hadn't spoken in days. Her throat was raw from the cold and from begging. The war had taken her home, her family, her identity. She walked with no destination, driven only by instinct. Survive. She passed gated buildings, human enclaves, safe zones, always locked and guarded. Humans didn't trust off-worlders anymore, not after the collapse. Refugees like her were considered looters, invaders, parasites. She paused before a squat brick structure, lights on inside. It smelled like heat and bread. She approached the door. No guards. No turrets. She didn't knock. She collapsed. Inside, Derek Wynn, former combat engineer and now a solitary gardener, heard the soft thud from beyond the threshold. He'd ignored countless knocks before. But this wasn't a knock. It was softer, like something folding. Cautiously, he unlatched the door and opened it. A figure lay motionless. Alien. Female. Bones sharp under her skin. Shivering violently. He should have closed the door. Protocol said to call security, to leave the alien outside, too risky. Instead, he looked at her and said the words that changed both their lives. Stay. Forever if you want. Just stay inside. The warmth was overwhelming. Cellari awoke wrapped in thick woolen blankets, unfamiliar smells curling around her. Bread, herbs, soap. She startled, trying to sit, but pain flared in her side. Her limbs were too thin to obey. A human sat across the room, feeding logs into a stove. He turned, noticing her. Hey. You're safe. I didn't take anything, just patched you up best I could. She tried to speak, but only rasped. He handed her water and bread. I'm Derek. You? Her fingers trembled around the cup. Cellari. He smiled. Good name. That was the beginning. Cellari slept for 3 days. Derek fed her, kept the fire going, said little. He never asked why she was there, what she'd done. When she woke for good, she found a basin and soap beside her bed, a drawer of clean clothes, oversized human garments, soft and warm. She couldn't stop crying. I don't understand, she said. Why would you help me? Derek shrugged. You looked like you needed it. I don't care what species someone is when they're dying on my doorstep. But I'm not human. He met her gaze. Neither is kindness. That's universal. In the weeks that followed, Cellari regained her strength. Her body filled out. Her eyes brightened. She began helping Derek in the greenhouse that stretched behind the house, a relic of pre-war Earth. There, among tomatoes and windflowers, she found purpose again. She learned to plant, to tend, to grow. She'd never seen Earth soil before. It stained her hands, but she liked it. It made her feel real again. They rarely talked about the past. But sometimes at night, when the wind returned and memories howled with it, she'd ask, what happened to this world? Derek would sigh. Too many weapons. Too much fear. When the off-worlders came fleeing their own wars, we weren't ready. We blamed them, built walls, started fighting each other too. Civilization fell apart trying to stay safe. And you, she whispered, He looked into the fire. I was part of the machine that broke it. As spring came, so did patrols, drones scouting for illegal refugees, especially alien-born. Derek reinforced the shutters and taught Cellari how to hide in the cellar. One evening, she stood in the hallway and said, "You don't have to protect me. You already gave me life again." He turned to her, jaw clenched. "I didn't save you to watch them take you away." "Why?" she asked. "Why do you care?" He stepped forward slowly. "Because you remind me that there's still good left in this galaxy. Because you laugh when the flowers bloom and cry when the stars are out. Because when you smile, I believe in a future again." Cellari trembled. "You're human," she whispered. "And You're mine," he interrupted. "If you'll stay." They lived quietly, side by side. Days spent planting, building new rooms, fixing what war had broken. Cellari learned to cook, to sing again. She began sewing clothes from scraps, laughing that she finally had more than a rag to her name. But peace doesn't last. One morning, Derek spotted a drone in the distance. Red beaconed. Tracking. They had hours, maybe less. "I'll run," Cellari said, voice steady. "I won't let them take you down with me." Derek shook his head. "I opened that door and told you to stay. I meant forever." "But they'll kill you." "Then I'll make it worth it." He pulled an old crate from the shed. Inside, a jammer device, relic of his military days. Still functional. He taught Cellari how to activate it and told her to stay hidden in the greenhouse tunnel he'd secretly dug. At dawn, the drone arrived. Cellari heard the muffled exchange, Derek claiming he lived alone, that no life signs beyond his own existed. The drone hovered, scanning, probing. The jammer flickered, then retreat. Later, Derek crawled into the tunnel, mud on his clothes, eyes wild. They bought it. For now. Cellari clutched him tight, burying her face in his chest. "I don't want to hide forever." "Then we'll change the world," he said, holding her. "One seed at a time." Word spread quietly among the refugee circuits, a human safe house, hidden in Sector V Delta. Food, shelter, warmth. No judgment. Cellari was the one they met first, now proud, strong, radiant. She welcomed each arrival with a smile and warm bread. Derek watched her from the garden gates, heart full. He had built walls to keep the world out. She had turned them into a home. 5 years later, the safe house had become a village. Humans and aliens worked together, side by side. Children of both kinds played in the greenhouse fields. The drone patrols stopped coming. The war-torn world had started to stitch itself together, not through governments or weapons, but through kindness, soil, and shared bread. At the heart of it all stood a brick house with vines climbing its walls. Cellari stood by the door one rainy afternoon, her hands resting on her swollen belly. A young alien girl shivered at the gate, barefoot, alone. Cellari smiled, opened the door, and said, "Come in. Stay forever inside."